Hey, it's Quincy Wayne, better known to you as AKAnundrum, and I know why you're here for an amazing episode of the Drum Circle Show, where we celebrate our lesser known unsung heroes, right? The ones that are on the ground, the ones that we can actually relate to and have moments that connect us, okay? To inspire us and teach us what's relative to where we are in this exact experience and on our journey. So that's why I made this show. That's why I love this show. And that's why you love this show. So today we have an amazing guest. We have a young woman who is really doing it. I'm telling you, I've kind of, watched her journey a little bit and I was kind of like, oh my God, okay, I see her. She's coming up. That person that you're just like always celebrating, and always like cheering on. So, you know how I do. With no further ado, I'm going to allow our guest to introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about her business, and then we're going to jump right into the interview. So I'm going to pass it on to you.
Hey everybody, my name is Rochelle Ivory. I am from Compton, California. I am the founder and CEO of On the Edge Baby Hair. We are a line of functional and protective hairstyling tools that we like to think inspires creativity and embraces the culture of Black hair care rituals, specifically the ritual of edge or baby hairstyling, because we believe stylist edges deserve stylist brushes.
Yes. Okay. So, now edges, honey, that's a
Edges, honey.
conversation.
It is.
That's the edges in the Black community, honey.
It's a staple. It's like that seasoning. It's like hot sauce. You just put a little bit of sprinkle on everything.
Yes, yes, and okay, so being a good sis from a little bit way back in the day before we really understood edge health and
Yep.
things like
Hmm.
that when we were starting the French braids, and a lot of us succumb to kind of little traction alopecia. Full transparency,
Hmm.
maybe sometime I had to put a little fill in on the edges.
Perms, everything.
So we came from the era where edges really were a big deal because girls were losing their edges, right? Especially from braids. And so then that whole edge culture was a thing. It was a thing.
Yeah.
And then we always wanted to be decorative with our edges as well. But I'm
Right.
saying where we are at with edges today, edges have their own
Oh,
real
for
estate
sure. Yeah.
on your head. So please let people know, like, for those of you who don't know, like, how serious edges are. Okay.
Well, look, today you can see baby hairstyling and edges on your favorite celebrities on the cover of Vogue magazine. All of these major magazines. I mean, I think today we're just unapologetic with the way that we're styling our hair and the way that we're being creative with our edges. So for me, I grew up, in Compton, California. I grew up using the same old toothbrush, right? That we all grew up using, right? That was a staple in the Black community. You had that beat up toothbrush that you use, right? So then we saw people like Chili, and we just wanted to have those baby hairs, those swirls and swoops and swirls. So how On the Edge came about was no matter how I wear my hair, right? Whether it's natural, wig, weave, braids, whatever, I'm always doing something to my edges. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but you're always touching your edges, right? No matter what. And so 4 years ago, when I had my daughter, and you speak about the traction alopecia, I had severe postpartum shedding. Like literally, I had no edges, right? And so I felt like I had more hair in my toothbrush or in that, that plastic edge brush I do or buy from like, our Asian beauty stores. So I just was tired of seeing my hair on these tools. And so we talk about, edge health. I just really thought because I started, doing my daughter's little edges and whatnot, using the same toothbrushes, same little plastic flimsy ones that are not made for our hair, right? So I just thought, how can I make this tool that we use every single day, no matter what? I know a lot of people say, I don't even style my edges. You're doing something to your edges. You're throwing it back in the ponytail. You're getting something to catch those little baby hair flyaways. So I just was thinking, how can I make a tool that we use every single day be more protective of our hair and our hair goals, right? So we want to style our edges, but we can't style edges that we don't have. And I think also for me, when I had lost a lot of my edges through postpartum shedding, I was like, well, if they're going to be short, I got to style them. So I needed a tool that was both protective, functional, and fly.
That's awesome. And edges, when we think about it, for those of you who don't know, we are talking about, the smaller, thinner hair that is,
Hmm.
right, that separates your forehead from, right, your scalp. And with the edges, they frame your face. Like you really don't until when I stick it down and everything, you're kind of like, okay, I just feel a little bit more framed in, right?
Hmm.
And,
Yep.
in terms of my face.
Yep.
And one of the things that you also brought up that I think is critical to understand is when you said sometimes there was more hair in the brush, right? Than you notice. And I know for the longest growing up, we just grab whatever brush. We just grab the
Whatever
brush
was
because
there.
I think that especially when you have 4C texture, 3C texture, coarser hair, you tend to look at your hair as just strong, right?
Yeah.
You look at your hair as just if it's super tough, it can endure. So I'm going to say that
Absolutely.
we tend to kind of abuse our hair a lot, and it wasn't until later that I started to understand how dangerous some of these brushes can be. Some of the bristles are actually like cutting in to your hair, these
Hmm.
cheaper bristles. So you're brushing, but you're actually like scissoring away at your hair. So for
Yeah,
you to even
absolutely.
take note to that, you can go ahead on and speak to that as well.
So yeah, so when I was creating the design of my brush, I wanted something. So I'm just going to show you the comb side. I did it a little bit more wider tooth comb because again, when we're bringing our edges down, there was just way too much hair for me at the time coming out and being on the brush. Right, a toothbrush, whether it was usable and it was functional, it's not made for our hair. Right. So I just
Right.
really wanted to upgrade the girlies from using their toothbrush. So that's why I did the comb side a little bit more wider tooth comb so that when we are bringing down the edges, we don't have to see a whole lot of, hair in the comb. And so for the bristle side, I did it a little bit longer, did it in a more triangular shape so that it's a little bit
Mhm.
more sensitive. And then 100% boar bristle so that so it can go through our all the hair textures that we all have. And so that's really what and then did the design of the brush a little contoured, and then the tip there so that it could be like a precision parting tool. So I wanted something functional, but most importantly protective of our hair.
Right. And I mean, even the angle, look at the ingenuity on the angle. Cause I know with the toothbrush, we don't think about it, but it doesn't, you just like, so that actually will lay
Yeah.
flat. It's just brilliant. Absolutely. And now, not only that, the design, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely
Thank
gorgeous.
you.
It does not look like that little pastel colored toothpaste, toothbrush that you
Right.
have in your purse or whatever. It actually is something professional. I can see that, in a salon versus
Hmm.
this little toothbrush. So that right there
Yeah.
to me is absolutely ingenious. Now, for
Thank you so
that,
much.
you're doing something that I'm going to say a lot of startups, I'm going to say we have the idea for it, but it's a hard thing to execute, and that is actually designing a actual tool, a product, right? Because nowadays we think about it like, oh, this would be so cool to do this, but to actually
Yep.
go through with that, can you please speak to that journey, like designing an actual tool?
I actually got chills of you saying that because a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to think of something from scratch and then to execute it into something physical that you can hold in your hands. And my journey was one of hills, peaks, and valleys. I am the first entrepreneur in my family. My family were all kind of like worker bees, right? We go to college, we get our degrees, and then we get into the corporate office. And that's fine for us, right? So when this idea kept jumping into my head, and it was just that, oh, that would be cool if someone made a brush that didn't pull our edges. That would be cool if someone made a beautiful brush. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that. You know what I mean? And I think I was talking to my sister about it, and she was like, well, make it. Well, how am I going to make it? Who do I know? I don't know anyone that's ever created a product from scratch. Figure it out. And I think I had the idea in my head for about 3 months before I was like, okay, this isn't leaving, right? God placed this on my heart. Okay, let me do it. So then I got to Googling and how to make something from scratch. And so, the first time I got with a friend hooked me up with like a designer. And then he was the one that kind of guided my steps. he was like, okay, you need to draw it out first. Then I know a cousin, I have a cousin who can draw. Okay, draw this brush for me. And I was like visualizing, telling her how to draw it. She drew it out. And the first design, I was like, I don't really like that. So let's just do this and this and that. So then she drew it out. So then I just had a picture of it, right? And so then I was like, okay, well, then someone was like, well, you got to get a prototype. Well, what's a prototype? I don't know what a prototype is. So I'm Googling, how do you get a prototype? So I was finding all these things, these places that can make your prototype, right? And they were costing thousands of dollars. And I'm like, well, I don't have thousands of dollars, right? So then a friend of mine who had a 3D printer. He's like, well, I can do a 3D rendering of it. I just need the sketch, right? And we got to turn that sketch into a different format, like an AI format, not the AI we know now, but like the file itself is called, I think, AI. So we worked on that. He helped me tailor that, and then he did a 3D rendering of it. Oh my god, I wish I had it. It's in another room. But so then he did a 3D rendering. So then I had something physical in my hand. I'm thinking like, oh my god, okay, so this works, or I don't like this, and so we're tweaking the design. And so then I Googled just kind of like prototypes, how can I get an idea or whatnot. And so I was just finding all these different places that make prototypes. And, so then while we were doing that, the guy who was helping me was like, I think that, if you're going to make something of your own design, you need to protect it. That's when he started telling me about intellectual property. And again, I'm in healthcare. So I'm like, I don't know what any of that mean, but then it's just that I had a friend, a friend had a friend, my cousin actually, her friend is an IP attorney.
Mm. Ooh,
Yeah.
you
So
got
then,
the right one, honey. You got the right one. Okay, go ahead.
yes. So then, she was telling me, well, she's an IP attorney in China, but she was like, telling me this is what you need to do. So she hooked me up actually with a black woman IP attorney from Houston. And so I talked to her, and she just was kind of like, okay, well, if you're gonna, make something that's your own design and with type of patents, I'm thinking, oh my god, patents! I'm getting scared. You know what I mean? Of course, you're getting scared. I'm like, okay, this is too much for me, right? Just getting scared, like imposter syndrome. Long story short, she worked on the patent application at the same time as I hooked up with something called Prototype House. They're out of Florida. And they're kind of like an all-stop shopping for getting your ideas to prototype, sourcing, etc. Yes.
Wow.
So they also do IP as well, but I didn't need the IP from them because I had it somewhere else. So
Mm-hmm.
Prototype House, actually, I sent them the files. They did the prototypes. They did the renderings. They got me with the like better like drawers, like engineers, and those technical drawers to get like all the
Right,
specs right.
right.
Yeah, so this was happening over a course of like 2 to 3 months, and then finally got a real
Wow.
prototype. Yeah, it
So
happened so fast once we got rolling.
I mean, that is amazing. And I love this. And this, it was one of the things that as soon as I was so happy when you applied, because I already knew that that was what I wanted to talk about, right? And we talk about trademarks a lot.
Yeah.
We do that, but patents, like, and here's the thing: we hear people throw the word around all the time. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I go on to something, they're like, "Get a patent, girl. You better patent that. You better patent that. You better patent that." And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, ma'am, first of all, it's not that easy.
No,
It is
not that
not that
easy.
easy. Like trademark, much more easy to be approved for than a patent,
Yeah.
right? So when I was doing my research, eons ago on just the differences between copyright, trademark, and patent, and then
Mm-hmm.
looking into the journeys of people who patent and how long that takes, how expensive of a product, the differences
Mm-hmm.
between the design patent and the utility
Utility
patent,
patent, yes.
right? How important it is even to have patent pending, on your
Mm-hmm.
application. So how long was that journey for you for patenting?
Okay, so it took me to put it in perspective. It took 1 year for my trademark to be about 6 months to 1 year for my trademark, but it took
Hmm.
2 years for my patent to
Right,
be approved. two
right.
years because they came back and were saying, certain things, my attorney was handling. So certain things, at first we had went through a utility and that was denied.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a different design of it. So then we got the design patent. So the look of this brush is not like any other brush out there. And so we went with the design patent, and that took 2 years to do.
And the beautiful part about it is that your design actually serves the utility.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you said the angled brush, it actually has the function in the
Yeah.
design, right? That's why you
Yeah.
designed it that way. So
Yeah.
that actually works for you because, in my opinion, you really got covered under two things. By doing the design, you got
Yeah.
that function in there because if they don't have that angle on there, they're not getting that same result. So I
Right.
think that actually was a blessing in disguise. Now, for you, for patent, can you also explain to people like how that works? I know for copyrights, it lasts as long as the life of the author, 70 years plus, right? Trademarks, they last, for a while. Now, a lot of people don't know how sometimes you can lose your trademark by no fault of your own, only
Yeah.
because your slogan or what I hate to say slogan, not slogan, but the term has become so overused and mass marketed, people
Common.
can
Yep.
use it. Like some people didn't know the phrase escalator was trademarked at one point. Yeah, and we can't use it anymore because it's you couldn't sue. Think about it. Everyone would be running around saying such and such escalator. You'd be suing them for everything.
Yeah.
Trampoline was a phrase that was like that because it just got so mass use. But patents are different because they're actually, so we always see, oh, this ingredient is the same as Listerine once the patent, has expired, but over some time. So patent
Yeah.
gives you that first mover's advantage so that you can actually stake and have your claim in the market
Yeah.
before anyone else gets to try and duplicate your process, right? So what is
Correct.
that like?
Yeah. So for mine, I think I forget what the terms are, the length of terms for my patent, but yeah. So for my patent, it shows that no other brush can claim to have this contoured
Mhm.
grip with this handle, the way it kind of indents there, the wider tooth comb in this format, in this pattern there, with the bristles with that triangular shape. So yeah, so it protects the actual look and design of the brush. There could be no other brush designed to
Right.
look like this. Yeah.
And that right there, like as a fan of Shark Tank, when people were on Shark Tank, I know this is a sensitive topic. I know you guys, and it's not me advising her to do this, but exiting businesses are normal. Selling a business is natural. It's how most of your billionaires, I can't tell you any of them who, most billionaires, they've sold a business or something at some point in time,
For
right?
sure.
Mark Zuckerberg let go of PayPal and or whatever, but you get my point. So I would always watch Shark Tank, and because they're always thinking long term, wider, right? Where it's licensing out or
Hmm.
exiting. And honey, when you say you own that trademark, oh, that's when they get excited. Okay.
Yeah.
When you say you own that patent, that's when they get really excited because they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we actually all have ownership
Yeah.
because it's that protection against competitors in the market. And so again, I do not know very many patent holders. So I mean, shout out to, I know a ton of trademark holders at this point, right? But patent people who've actually been through the process and done that. I think that is absolutely remarkable. And I love that you spoke to the fact that this was not natural for you because it's not something we have in our family.
Yeah.
It's not something that we have in our friend circle. And as much as people will say, oh, well, you have all the resources, honey, let me tell you something. If you don't even know what to ask,
If you
the right,
don't
you
know
can
what to
go to
ask,
Google and you don't even know what to ask. You don't even know the question. You don't even know the terminology. So, thank God, yes, the information is there, but it is
mhm,
not that easy to start that journey. And it would be really easy to get dismayed by it too, because there's a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of
mhm,
misinformation out there. So I'm so proud of you for taking, that part of the journey on, right? So
yeah.
of course we think you're unstoppable at this point, right? Like, okay, she
Right.
went on and did that. She got to be unstoppable.
Right.
And I just want you, at this moment to speak to anyone, and it could be specific to patent or it could be just specific to the journey of like some of the obstacles that were easy to stop you, but you didn't. You know what I mean? You kept going and you went past that point.
Yeah. the patent application and the patent process was pretty difficult. So there are a lot of things because I will speak to just like my trademark on the edge baby hair. So they came back and said, you don't own the words baby. Well, of course we don't own the words baby, so there was a lot of like push and pull with that one. The patent application too just was, them bringing up different brushes or other things out there. So we really had to make sure that my design was very specific to what I mean. They go like millimeters. I mean, they got their rulers. They have people there really just to deny your patent. So the fact that I even was awarded the patent is a much blessing, and I don't think I bragged about that enough. Um, but it didn't stop there. Okay, I own the patent. I have a product. I found a manufacturer. Now what? You got to sell your product, right? And I thought my product was going to sell itself, right? Because every black girl I know uses an edge brush, right? But that's not the case if it's selling yourself. You really got to get out there and you have to think about a brand awareness. And so for me in my journey, I feel like I've kind of hit that glass ceiling of brand awareness. And so it's breaking through that ceiling for me that kind of is giving me that roller coaster ride there right now. And that deterred me a little bit. Sales were great out the gate because it was this new, exciting thing. But then you got to be consistent with how you're selling it, how you're showing up for your audience, and finding new audience, finding new people to buy your product. And so I just didn't have the knowledge, the wherewithal to understand how to find people, how to sell to certain demographics, different segments. And so that was getting me down a lot
Yeah,
in the
and
process.
one of the challenges that I think that people who have a product like yourself, one of the things that they face that they don't think about is someone you go out of your way to make the most quality edge brush in the world, right? You want it to last
Yeah.
forever. And what you don't realize is that customer doesn't have to buy it again, right? Or
Yes.
that is, I think, I'm speaking your language right now.
Yeah. You're
That's
speaking
the
my language.
one
Yes.
thing that I think
Was
that
it
most
lifetime
people,
value customer?
yes, we're like, yes, because we go out of our, we want it to be the best in class, quality. And then we're
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, I got to go get a new customer and a new
Yep.
customer and a new
Yep.
customer. And for those of you guys who don't know, it costs 60 to 70% to acquire a new customer versus
Yes.
keeping the existing customer that you
Customer
have.
acquisition costs. I learned that
Yes,
term this
customer
year.
acquisition costs, right? So that and especially like I said, when you have a product that lasts so long. So that is why I believe, I don't remember the episode, but I taught you guys about planned obsolescence. How some companies have actually built in degradation and the death of their earlier death of their product. So you have to buy it again. Perfect example, cars, right? They used to be built to last forever. You hit a car, it lasts forever. Now they actually get materials that they know will break down over time because it makes you have to buy another one. The first light
Mhm.
bulb was lit 18 something, it's still lit. So they can actually design. I mean, think about it. How many times they
Yeah.
changing that Statue of Liberty light bulb, girl? They ain't changing that thing. So they can make it last, but they don't. They purposely build in a weaker, the little wire in there to make it to collapse, so that you have to buy another one. So they can sell you over and over. So we don't realize it, but and it sounds nefarious on the nose, but a lot of people were like, how am I gonna get another customer? Because right,
Mhm.
so this has inspired me for a gem dropping moment. So, if you are like Rochelle and you have done that, you've actually said, "Ah, I thought I was doing a great thing. I made a wonderful product and it lasts forever, but oh my God, I have to go get another customer." Then what you want to do is you can incorporate a few different things. Those are ancillary products or create a subscription based service based around the maintenance of said product, based around the upgrading of said product, and offering complementary items. So, what Rochelle would want to do now, she has a niche market. And the one thing that she knows for a fact is they're there for the baby hair. So, if Rochelle was to, one, she could partner with someone who has a hair gel that's best in class, so she doesn't have to do all the R&D and all of the product development. She could partner with someone who has complementary items like gel, like other forms of hair care, and hairstyling equipment and products and services. And then eventually, if she sees that that's investment worthy, she could decide to actually jump into that space, right? So she's able to test the market first to see if it's even what they want, and then she can invest. So that way, she can add additional items while she has a super focused audience. But again, one of the ways to cheat code and do that, find someone to partner with first that's best in class and already knows what they're doing, so you can offer that. Another thing would be, okay, if the brush ever breaks, insurance. People buy insurance policies on their products to make sure that they can replace them, right? So those are just some of the other product or services that you could offer when you have that amazing product that they never have to buy again. So hopefully that dropped a gem on you, and we'll return back to the intro. So Rochelle, was that helpful?
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I know, and like I said, it's so hard because you're like, I made an amazing quality that's built to last
Right.
forever. And
Yeah.
now I got to go get other people. Here's another thing that you can do, but I'm not going to wrap it into the gem dropping moment. You can take some of your customers for you that are B2B. I see you being able to partner with a salon owner and just making that a staple in that salon. So now you can have a distribution deal worked out with her where she can sell them in that salon.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to worry about doing the individual B2C sales. You have distributors who already have the audience, boots on the ground, and then they'll be able to buy it and distribute it. I think that would be a great idea for you to expand as well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think for 2024, some of my goals are to get into the more wholesale. I think wholesale, like you're suggesting, it would be a great line of business for me. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. And I mean, they're always looking for amazing products and things like that. I think you can also eventually, maybe if you wanted to, get into the licensing. You may have some high-end
Mhm.
stylists and they would like their colors to their salon,
Yeah. I
for
wouldn't think of
different
that. I'm
things.
gonna write that down.
Yeah, right. They may want something that's like really goes with a particular unique. You have celebrity hairstylists who would probably want something like that that goes along with their personal brand as well, right?
Yeah.
So again, I am so proud of you, and you are right. You do
Yeah.
not talk about this patent enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna tap back into you because I was looking. I was like, she don't, because you know why
I
you did
know.
it, and you were like, okay, ma'am, that is a viable jewel. And it's something that I would love for you to talk more about. It's something I would love to see you hit stages on, sharing that information in that journey, because we don't really have people to speak to that unique journey, to talk about that experience. That's a
Yeah.
wealth of IP. The journey gave you IP. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh
something else
wow.
that you can also discuss as well. So I am so proud of you. I am so proud of
Thank you
you,
so
honey.
much. You
Yes,
tapped
I
in very
am.
early. Like you tapped in so early, and you just I watch your page and I listen to your gems and I look at all your information. I'm just people like you have made this entrepreneur journey a little bit easier for me. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you. And this is, like I said, these are the stories that I really love bringing to the masses, or just, just getting people to actually hear and share, because entrepreneurs, our megapreneurs that we're so proud of, they're like so far down the journey, that
Yeah.
it's like, but what happened? You have like 100 products now. Like, what was that first, product journey
Right.
like? And we still need to hear that, because that's a lot of where
Yeah.
most of us are, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, could you please let everyone know where to find you, how to find you, and right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys can find me on my Facebook or my Instagram, OTE_baby hair. Our website is www.ontheedgebabyhair.com. You can purchase our products there online or on Amazon as well. We're in some select Black owned beauty supplies here in the LA County um, area. I'm hoping to branch out soon to more Black owned beauty supplies. But really, I am on my Instagram all the time, OTE_baby hair.
Yes, yes. And I also have a suggestion for you too. I'm going to share it since we're out of time. I'm going to share it with you as well as another income stream and another way to do that. So for you guys, depending on when this rolls out, what I'm going to be sharing in my webinar is there's two things that you're going to have to do right now, especially, well, actually three, okay, that you're going to have to do right now in this new economy. And that is one, you need to create a digital product. So her IP can become a digital product. Her just explaining that journey and the steps. So giving someone the here's the basics, if you are some frequently asked questions, and she can
Mm-hmm.
actually sell that. She can host a webinar and answer a lot of questions, not saying give legal advice, or she can bring a lawyer in if she wants to, and they can provide legal advice. Great webinar, right? Number two, you're going to want to scale. And so there's a couple of ways of scaling. That is my first suggestion to her was what? Partnering with another company. I can teach you how to not only partner, but bring in other products into your storefront, not just for free, but get paid to do it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
And then you're going to want to sell. And in order to do that, you're going to need a sales team, right? So most of us are thinking, I don't have payroll, sis. I don't have money to be paying people to sell. I'm going to teach you how to not only do it for free, but get paid to do it. A sales team for yourself. That is going to be my upcoming webinar, which is inflation and your customer's new budget, how to keep yourself on the shopping list. And I'm going to give you the tools that I studied from the Great Depression and other downturn markets that businesses use to keep themselves relevant and to keep their doors open. So if you're interested in that webinar, you'll see the link. If you missed the webinar, you can get the replay and you'll see it at the end of this. So Rochelle, I thank you so very much. And guess what? I'm sending you a link to that webinar. And even if you cannot make it, I'm giving you that for free.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
Also going to be gifting you a personal business strategy consultation. I usually charge $300 for these. I'm going to give you that as well for free. So I would love to sit down with you and we can ideate on other things, just like what we're doing right now, on
Yeah.
other clever and wonderful ways to get your business in the hands of the people that need it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So thank you guys for tuning in. Now I know for you it's like Patton, like, oh my God, yes, finally somebody's talking about that, right? Yes. So listen, follow her, follow her journey because I'm going to be hard pressing her about helping you guys along your patent journey. If you're interested, I am going to be just on her. I'll see you patent post. Where's the patent post? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're looking for that kind of content, follow me too. We're going to harass her. We're going to make sure she posts it. Okay.
I know.
Thank
I
you
need
guys
to.
so much for tuning into the Drum Circle Show. My name is Alquintia Sellaway, known as AKAnundrum. This is Rochelle Ivory, and I hope you got a lot out of this episode, and I can't wait to see you back. Bye bye. I'm all smooth out. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. We're ready to go.
All right.
Okay. So now let's just hope I can remember my name. That's what happens too. See, because now it's stuck. This is the only part I fuck up on. I can do this. All right. Damn, these glasses are. Hold on. They're heavy, but that overhead glare. Now these I got this shit from Zulu, so you know I can't even see the prescriptions half-ass. And the only thing I'm worried about is going cockeyed, because if I'm trying to strain and then I can't see. So I'm like, they're giving. We gonna try it today. Hold on, give me 2 swigs of this.
Oh my God.
If
You're
you see me
hilarious.
going cross-eyed, don't you let me stay out there like that.
I
Say
won't.
cut.
All right, that's the cue.
Okay. See, that was cute, huh?
Mhm.
They give the I love these, but they were giving just a little too chunky. Okay. Ready? Think they're not crooked? I can barely see. I ain't gotta read though. Thank God. Let's go. Okay. The hell? Sheen, fuck you. Okay.
How am I supposed to be serious now?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Girl, I'm on the verge of having Tourette's, okay? It just, when you see, can you tell shit just whatever's in my mind, that shit just pop out, okay?
No, you
I'm
are
not
so
even lying.
mean.
That
I
was
gotta
a
finish
personal
now.
thought. That was literally me talking to myself. Fuck you, Sheen. Okay. This might make for a good outtake, though. Might just slide
Yeah.
that in. All right. So we're ready. Hey, it's out. Shit! I knew it. Okay.